so good. But bondage porn, it's always like in a cellar with like dripping walls or like a warehouse, and she's just like a bandit. It's like, can't she be comfortable? I don't understand why there always has to be a guy with a welder's mask and a purpose, like with a stick. Like, can't it be nicer? But it can't be. They're always mean to her. And I'm just like, be nice. Like, she's invited all these dudes over. You guys, one of you showed up late. There's nowhere for your dick to go now. And so I hate that guy. He's always just like, where do I go? Where do I go? It's just like, go fill the Brita, Tony. Why were you late? Like, do something useful. We're all going to be very dehydrated after this. But, no. Then Tony's just like hitting his dick on her shoulder as if that's doing anything for either of them. And it's just like, look inside yourself, Tony. Why were you late? God. She's not like a bison on the Great Plains. You need to use every single part of her to honor her. Gangbangs? Like, I love gangbangs, but I'm just looking for like a respectful gangbang. Like, why not? Just be nice to her. A respectful gangbang, that would just be a girl tied up, and guys are doing lots of things to her down here, and then up here, a guy's just brushing her hair and telling her she's strong. Respectful. That's all I want. You know what's frustrating about masturbating when you're a woman is that you can't really fuck yourself, you know? Like, you can do clit stuff or whatever, but truly being penetrated, it's hard to do to yourself. Like, and it's hard to come from that if you're like doing a CrossFit sequence as you're like getting tennis elbow. I mean, it's a lot of work, and I always give up, and I'm just like, this is too hard. And that's why I get so jealous of guys, because I'm like, oh, jerking off is so easy for guys. It's just this. That's what you do when you say something's easy. You're just like, oh, we'll fucking bang it out and go to Chipotle, man. Just get the reports done, and we'll go to the game. Like, that's how easy that is. Oh, I'm jealous. Because I like a dick in me. I'm sorry. I like getting stuffed. I do. It feels good, and I'm not going to apologize for it. But the problem is, and people are like, oh, then why don't you just go have sex, Nikki? If you want to catch a dick in, go out and get one. And it's like, I would, and I used to when I drank. But if you're sober, you can't just have casual sex. I don't know if anyone here has had casual sex sober, but like, how did you do that? Having casual sex sober, it's a lot more intimate. It turns into an episode of Dawson's Creek for some reason. A Counting Crows song starts playing. I'm just like, what's happening? It's around here. I'm just like, where's that coming from? This has meaning when it shouldn't. Sometimes you don't want sex to mean anything, and you just want to like bang it out and live your life, but you can't when you're sober. When I drank, that's all I did. If I wanted to like get dicked out, I'd just like, none of this sounds real good. If I wanted to say I had sex, but I didn't want to experience, and that's what would be perfect. Would be like, I would just be like, I feel like getting fucked. And so I would just black out drink, hone in on a guy, and then like kind of Cosby myself into this situation where I would be penetrated that night by a comedian and not remember any of it. I'd wake up in the morning, I wouldn't even know what I had done. Sometimes I'm like, oh dear, did I do anal or is that bronzer? Like, I would try and figure it out. You know those mornings? Where you're like, did I have sex? I don't know. I should know that. I'd figure it out if the sheet was stuck inside me. I'd be like, okay, I probably had sex. That's a classic post-sex old glazed dog move. I always do a tuck, right? Because I don't like to go to bed with a soggy vag. So I just like tuck it up. I don't want to be sloshing around all night. And so I tuck and release. And I don't get yeast infections, girls. Like, it's a good plan. If you don't want to get a yeasty, just tuck and release. But sometimes you're drunk and the tuck feels so good you just leave it. And then it dries overnight and you got to peel it off like a Biore strip in the morning. And it hurts. You leave behind a paper mache stalagmite on his duvet. It's not a nice way to be remembered. Trying to flatten it when he's in the bathroom. Just like, go away. Out, damn spot. There are embarrassing moments like that, but like, you know, most of the time having drunk sex, it made it just a lot easier to get it, you know? And sometimes when I'm sober, I go out with a guy and I'm like, God, I'd love to feel that way again. So I'll just like take out one contact lens just to feel a little off, just to be like, maybe I'll make some mistakes. And lot now for me to want to have sex with a guy, and it's because sober sex, it's risky, right? Your body as a woman, when there's a penis in you and you're sober for it, it like thinks you're making a baby with the guy. So it like shoots off all these chemicals that are just like, remember him, you know? Hold on to him. Wait for him. He's gonna provide for you. And I just want to tell my dumb cave woman brain, like, I'm gonna do everything in my power to not get pregnant right now. I hope you know that. And by that I mean the pull-out method. Like, that's the best I can give you, body. And it works. It's worked for me most of the time. I'm probably barren. That's what I've determined. Like, it's not supposed to work. I've had one pregnancy scare. It was double scary. It was at a haunted house, and I was alarmed. Yeah. A woman, like, jumped out in a bloody sheet, and I was like, I haven't seen those in a while. And it reminded me that I hadn't ruined a sheet set that I love in over a month. And so I was like, oh, I should... When you use the pull-out method, you sometimes need to supplement with the morning after pill, which I've taken a handful of times. No, I took a handful one time. I'm sorry. And it's different. No, the morning after pill, let me just tell you, though, you can take it up to 72 hours. I don't think that's not in the name, the morning after. They need to change the name, because sometimes you have sex in the morning, and you're like, I gotta wait till tomorrow morning, I guess, to take it. And then you forget, and you start a family. So... it's 3 days. You have 3 days. And I'm trying to get it changed to the long weekend after the holiday. The Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend after pill. I think that gives you an idea of the chunk of time you have. And I'm getting a lot of pushback from his foundation. But you have 3 days, and I've used them all before. And it's not because I'm like, oh, I'm lazy. It's because I'm just waiting till I need to get toilet paper, too. I'm like, I'll kill 2 birds. Or 3. Twins run in my family. I don't really know how this thing works, but... I am willing to take it, especially if the guy asks. Have you ever had the guy ask you to do it? I'll do it, especially if he pays. I'm like, yeah, if you give me $50, and he does, and you go to Sephora and you pray. And that works.